Que pasa to the pack? It is Pack here. This is the last roster discussion rating change video of NBA 2K23 because the NBA playoffs have already started. The first round of the NBA playoffs literally just ended today with the Golden State Warriors beating the Sacramento Kings. What I want to do is talk about every single team that I think needs a rating change, and that change will happen when the next 2K game drops. So basically, this is when NBA 2K24 drops, what player ratings am I expecting based off of the playoff performance, okay? That's what I'm doing in today's video. If you like roster ratings, changes, and updates, and all that kind of stuff, I talk about it all year, every year. So please join the pack and subscribe, and let's get it, man. If I do not mention your favorite NBA playoff team, it is because I thought that there was no change needed. Let's start off with the Philadelphia 76ers. There's a couple changes you could do, but I think the only real, guaranteed one so far is Tyrese Maxey. The 76ers blew out the Brooklyn Nets because that Brooklyn Nets team was a completely different team than when the playoffs started, right? Or I guess when they were expected to go to the playoffs. Completely different team. Tyrese Maxey showed out. This 76ers team, the only way this is going to work is if not only Joel Embiid and James Harden play well, but you always need a number 3 to win an NBA championship. And Tyrese Maxey is that player. He is that number 3. If they want any shot of ever winning a chip, it's going to have to be Tyrese Maxey stepping up because we know that James Harden theoretically can do well, and Joel Embiid is going to do well. So Tyrese Maxey's already had a great start. I know it's against the Nets, and it's not a big deal because it's the Nets. No offense to them. But I do think, based off of the couple games that we saw Tyrese Maxey play, he did have a very good series so far. I have a +1 for Tyrese. That's it so far. Oh man, the Cavaliers. You could say a lot because it was a very disappointing season. You know, the Cavs, it sucks. I kind of feel bad for them. I know there's a Knicks logo. Just ignore that. I feel bad for them because the Cavaliers had such a good regular season. When this team was put together, when Donovan Mitchell joined, everyone was like, yo, this Cavs team is valid. They just played the one team that they probably wish they wouldn't have played in the first round that wasn't one of the best teams, right? The Knicks just bodied them completely. I'll talk about the main reason, but let's talk about a unfair one, and that's Donovan Mitchell did not perform as the usual Donovan Mitchell that he does in the playoffs every single year. Instead, he kind of had a mid-playoffs, and then not only that, he didn't have a good series based off of the regular season this year. So Donovan Mitchell, look, Spider's an amazing player. I expect him to do well all the time. You could argue that because the team didn't do well, he wasn't able to do well, but he just didn't do the carry job that was required in order for him to win that series. They lose in 5. Donovan Mitchell had a bad statistical series. I have him as a -3. I mean, I feel like he's a 90 overall player, so maybe I would have him as a 90, so maybe like a -2. But he definitely is going to get some kind of downgrade, even if it's a little bit. He's going to get one. But the important ones is Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. Now, I want to give Evan Mobley a pass because, you know, it's his second season in the NBA. He was playing against Mitchell Robinson, who was really handing it to him. It was really hard to score on him. Evan Mobley, I mean, he doesn't really has not figured out his offensive game just yet. He's more of a defender. So, I kind of give Evan Mobley a pass so far, but I'm going to give him a -1. Jarrett Allen's the one that I'm going to give either a -1 or -2. He vanished in the playoffs. And, he's been at, playoff series before. He's been on good teams before. I mean, he vanished. Again, Mitchell Robinson was dominating this man. It's just not a good look for Jarrett Allen. There's even talks about trading him now, apparently, which sucks. But when you have a player series that bad, it's not a good sign. Especially when the Cavs lack depth, they could trade him to get a little more deep. So hey, you know what? I wouldn't be opposed to it. For the Boston Celtics, I feel pretty strongly about this one, and that is Derek White. So all season, there's been this talk on the roster update videos of who's the third best player on this team. And Robert Williams III is usually the safe option because he's a great rebounding center who can block. He has a great field goal percentage, but he misses almost half the year every year, okay? And for the most part, he's just a rebounding defensive center. Malcolm Brogdon, was a 6th man of the year candidate. Marcus Smart was a defensive player of the year. But I think I always came back to Derek White. He was the 3rd leading scorer for the team. He was the 3rd leading scorer for the playoffs, while also being a good defender. He's pretty consistent lately. So Derek White, I have him as a +3. It would tie him with Robert Williams III and Malcolm Brogdon. You can maybe give him a +4 and put him as the 3rd best player solidly on this team. But there's no doubt, there's no doubt in my mind for sure, that Derek White is going to be at least a +3 or 4 because this is like the worry for the Celtics, and like 2K was like, oh, like on the Spurs, he was okay, but that was a bad team, and maybe he was getting inflated stats. Well, he's proving it now in the Celtics. So Derek White's for sure an 83 overall. And that forehead is also like 83 inches. For the Los Angeles Clippers, it is time to apologize to Russell Westbrook. There is so many times this season I heard, oh, Russell Westbrook's garbage. He doesn't have it anymore. He's not even in the 80 overall club conversation anymore. At some point this season, he was a 78 overall. That is disrespectful to him. This playoffs without Paul George or Kawhi Leonard for most of it, Russell Westbrook averaged 24 points on decent efficiency. Now, I'm not going to act like he was amazing, but he did a good enough job, and I think Russell Westbrook added to this team, and he was being a good playmaker. He's an 83 overall. I'd argue maybe even an 84, so a +3 for Russell Westbrook. He has earned that right. He played so well that series, even though they lost. Norman Powell is a non-debate, no discussion, 80 overall club member, +1. He was the second leading scorer for the team in the series on good efficiency. For the Memphis Grizzlies, bro, I have I have Dylan Brooks -4. Bro, I wish they had a him rating, because he should have it at 0. How are you going to talk all that shit to the Lakers, to LeBron, and then do horrible? Like, he shot 36% that series. That's bad, and he didn't even play good defense. That's crazy, Dylan Brooks. No. 75 overall. What does he do? Although the Atlanta Hawks kind of got bounced in the first round, they put up a good fight against the Celtics, who were probably one of the best teams in the NBA, and they made it into the, they won the play-in tournament to enter into the playoffs. Trae Young is a superstar. I don't know if he's a 90 or 91, somewhere around there, but he's a superstar. I know that we always talk about his defense and what he can't do, but what he can do is be a bucket and play make so well. He was a leading playmaker for the playoffs, like the most assists per game, and a good assist to turnover ratio. And on top of that, he was scoring a lot on good efficiency. What more can you want from the man? He did as much. He won 2 games against the Celtics and had no business doing that, because that team was way better than the Hawks. But Trae Young, lollipop with hair on top, did an amazing job. Jimmy Butler is a 95 overall. Bro, he led the playoffs in points per game and is still in the playoffs, and he beats the Bucks. I know that Giannis Antetokounmpo was hurt, so it's not really fair, but still, this team without Tyler Hero made it past the first round as the 8th seed, and now they're playing the Knicks and are up a game against the Knicks, and Jimmy Butler's leading the league in points per game in the playoffs while defending the best player every single possession. Jimmy Butler is a 95 overall, and you could argue that this playoffs he's playing like a 98 overall, but I'm not going to over-exaggerate. I'm going to say a +2 for him, 95 when 2K drops the next year. The Kings, man, so they just lost to the Warriors in a 7-game series. It was a great series. Everybody kind of saw, I'm not trying to be a hater, but anybody that like knows basketball and watches it knows that the Kings were going to lose this series. The Warriors are like, they got superstar Steph Curry, good defense. Like, I just didn't like, I stared at this Kings team. I'm like, they're good and I respect them, but they're not going to beat the Warriors. I don't care what seeds they were at. It didn't matter. Like, it didn't matter. That being said, De'Aaron Fox is the best player on this team. At least from what I saw this series, De'Aaron Fox was killing it the entire time. Sabonis was doing fine, but I did feel like he was too focused on the foul calling and Draymond Green getting in his head that he doesn't really play in the game that I saw him play in the regular season. I have him as an 88 overall, and then I would have De'Aaron Fox as a 90 overall, making De'Aaron Fox the best player on the team comfortably. I do feel after watching this series, that's how I felt about this team. And I will say that Malik Monk is by far the 3rd best player on this team. I'm going to give him a +2, which is not by far, but that's how he was playing. But 82 overall from Malik Monk, that was around what he was playing at. The Knicks, I have some strong opinions about this team so far, making it into the 2nd round, playing the Miami Heat. Jalen Brunson is the best player on this team. I want to keep him at an 87 overall. I'm going to put Julius Randle down to an 86 overall. I know that he had an ankle injury, so it's not completely fair, but still, I do feel like Jalen Brunson is clearly the better player. And then RJ Barrett has been so underrated this year. I saw so many people saying that RJ Barrett was not good at anything. He has proven the haters wrong this year. I have him as a +2 to an 84 overall. The gap between him and Brunson isn't that big anymore, but it's still significant enough to talk about it. RJ Barrett, though, is only 22 years old at an 84 overall on a team that can make it to the 2nd round as the 3rd best player. That's a nice start for RJ Barrett's career. He's doing pretty good. This is the first time in my life I'm ever going to say this, so do not get mad at me, everyone, in the comments. LeBron James -1. He didn't even play that bad. So I'm not saying that LeBron James had a horrendous performance and Father Time finally caught up to him and needs to be a 90 overall or something. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that first, the best player on the Lakers, that line is blurred between Anthony Davis and LeBron James right now. Yes, LeBron James is the better player, but what Anthony Davis brings is so important that you could argue it's as important as LeBron James. Also, LeBron James' efficiency was not that good in the playoffs. His points per game were really low. He still did his great playmaking and rebounding, but still, he has a 96 overall. He's not where his prime is anymore. He's still very good. He was struggling from 3 this series. He's not prime LeBron James anymore, but he's still very good. I have him as a 96 overall, and that's not that bad for a 38-year-old LeBron. For Rui Hachimura, this might be an over-exaggeration. I have him as a +4. Probably one of the most underrated players in the NBA. He was killing it. I mean, mid-range shots, 3-pointers. He was doing a little bit of everything offensively, and even defensively had a pretty nice series. I don't know what he can't do. He was efficient, high points per game, good rebounding, good defense. What do you want from him? 80 overall at least. I would have him at least probably above Jared Vanderbilt for sure. You could tie him with Austin Reeves, more or less. I could see it. Yeah, that's what I would have. I don't have to talk too much about this. Jamal Murray, I'm gonna say +4. Jamal Murray in the playoffs is a completely different animal. The same thing that we said about Donovan Mitchell, about the playoff Donovan Mitchell's crazy. Jamal Murray is the same. Even Jokic was like, bro, in the first round, Jamal Murray is probably our best player, and they just beat the Suns in the first game of the series in the second round. Jamal Murray's scoring really well at a high efficiency, while also being one of the best playmakers in the playoffs right now. It's insane what he's doing. He's an 88 overall in the playoffs. I felt that he's always been comfortably the second best player on the Nuggets, but in the playoffs, it's just like that gap is so much bigger. This is probably going to be the first time I talk about Devin Booker this highly in my life, but Devin Booker in the playoffs right now is killing it. He is tied with Jimmy Butler leading the points per game in the playoffs, while also being one of the best defenders in the playoffs right now. I didn't even know Devin Booker could play defense like that, but he is right now. He is clamping everyone he guards. It's really impressive. Now, can he do it in this Nuggets series? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, Devin Booker has been impressive. So I have him as a 95 overall right now, +3. Now, that makes him pretty close to Kevin Durant, but right now, Devin Booker's playing like the best player on the Suns, which is crazy because, when Kevin Durant was on the Warriors, Steph Curry was like an MVP player, and he was outplaying Steph Curry. Kevin Durant joins the Suns, and Devin Booker's outplaying Kevin Durant right now. That's really impressive. The Timberwolves, man. I feel bad because a healthy season, who knows how good this team could have been. But I'll just say what I thought from a distance. Anthony Edwards is a 90 overall. Played out of his mind, did everything he possibly could on defense and offense, hit some tough shots. They just got outplayed by a better team. It is what it is. But Anthony Edwards is the best player on this team at a 90 overall. Karl-Anthony Towns, -1. I know that he's been injured most of the year. He's been slowly coming back. I'm disappointed in the performance I saw in the playoffs. I didn't see him aggressive enough when needed to be. So I have him as an 85 overall. The Golden State Warriors, bro. Jordan Poole, -3. Now, I know how good Jordan Poole can be, but after that first round, he shot, I believe, 35% from the field. Horrendous. Horrendous shooting from him. Not a good start for the series, but we know how good he can be. So he's an up and down player. So it's not a big deal. The moment there's an attractive girl on the sideline, he's going to go crazy. And Kevon Looney, 80 overall. I know that's a weird one. He led the playoffs in rebounding by a tremendous amount, and they played more games than anyone. He averaged 15 rebounds a game. The next best, I believe the next is Jokic with 12. The Nuggets only played a couple games. The Warriors have played 7. And he's still averaging 15 rebounds a game is insane. Kevon Looney, defense and rebounding has been integral for why they were able to succeed and kind of holds Sabonis down in the playoffs. It was really impressive. Okay, that's what I've noticed. Let me know what your opinion is in the comments below. And if you like this channel, please give it a sub. I'll see you guys next time.